Before we dive in, I want you to know something powerful. We've created an official WhatsApp channel where you can get unstoppable motivation, daily reminders, and the exact fuel you need to stay consistent on this journey. The link is right below in the description or pinned comments. Don't wait, because the people who stay plugged into that energy are the ones who keep moving forward every single day. Now, let me ask you something. What would your life look like if starting tomorrow morning you said just a few simple words to yourself? Words that shift your energy, words that prime your mind, words that condition your spirit to rise no matter what comes at you. I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about 5 powerful declarations that, if you live them every morning, will completely rewire the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. Because here's the truth. The quality of your life is shaped by the rituals you keep. And the most powerful ritual you can install is the one you begin your day with. So lean in, because this isn't fluff, this isn't hype, this is the exact language that can reset your focus, command your energy, and direct your destiny. Let's start with the very first declaration. I am grateful for this moment. Let me repeat it. I am grateful for this moment. Gratitude is the most powerful force you can generate within yourself, because it takes you out of fear and into love, out of stress and into peace, out of scarcity and into abundance. When you wake up in the morning and you declare, I am grateful for this moment, you are programming your brain and your body to start in a completely different state than the majority of people around you. Think about how most people start their day. They open their eyes, and within seconds, they're scrolling on their phone, looking at messages, news, and problems that immediately trigger stress hormones. They prime themselves for reaction, for anxiety, for scarcity. But when you choose gratitude first, you are training your nervous system to focus on what's already good, what's already working, what's already a blessing in your life. Saying, I am grateful for this moment, is not just repeating words. It is an act of aligning your entire psychology and physiology with the energy of appreciation. Gratitude requires presence, because it's impossible to be grateful and worried at the same time. You cannot hold gratitude and fear in your body simultaneously. That's the magic of it. The moment you focus on gratitude, fear loses its grip, stress loses its edge, scarcity loses its power. Gratitude shifts the lens through which you see the world. When you feel it deeply, you are no longer chasing something to feel fulfilled. You are recognizing that fulfillment is available right here, right now. This is not about ignoring problems or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about choosing the state from which you face those challenges. If you wake up in gratitude, you face problems with resourcefulness, creativity, and resilience. If you wake up in stress, you face problems with fear, contraction, and avoidance. That one shift in the morning is the difference between a day where you feel empowered and a day where you feel defeated before you've even begun. When you say, I am grateful for this moment, you are not just listing things you're thankful for, you're embodying a state of being. You're conditioning your nervous system to feel that richness in your body. And the brain doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. When you declare gratitude with emotion, your brain fires the same circuits. Your body releases the same biochemistry as if you were truly experiencing that blessing right now. That's why gratitude is so transformative. It tricks your nervous system into living the reality of abundance before it even happens. And the more you condition that, the more you attract it. Gratitude is also the doorway to joy. When you look at children, they have a natural ability to be grateful for the simplest things: the taste of ice cream, the sound of laughter, the feeling of running barefoot. Somewhere along the way, adults forget this and get caught up in what's missing, what's wrong, what's next. But joy comes from appreciation, not accumulation. You don't need more to feel grateful, you need to notice more. That's why saying, I am grateful for this moment, is so profound. You're not waiting for the perfect conditions to feel thankful. You're choosing gratitude regardless of the conditions, and that is power. When you really mean those words, your entire body changes. Your breath slows down, your muscles relax, your face softens. Gratitude literally reprograms your physiology. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. It strengthens your immune system. It improves your sleep. It enhances your relationships. Because when you are grateful, you radiate a different energy and people feel it. Gratitude makes you magnetic. Nobody wants to be around someone who is always complaining, always focused on what's wrong. But everybody is drawn to the person who radiates appreciation, who sees the good, who celebrates life, and gratitude is not passive, it creates momentum. The more grateful you are for what you have, the more you find to be grateful for, the more you acknowledge the blessings in your life, the more blessings appear. It's like tuning your mind to a different frequency. Imagine your mind like a radio station. Most people have their station set on problems, scarcity, frustration. They tune into everything that's wrong, and that's all they hear. But when you declare, I am grateful for this moment, you're switching the frequency to appreciation, abundance, opportunity, and once you tune into that station, you start noticing more of it everywhere. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it's a filter. It changes what you see, what you hear, and how you experience life. Think about the moments in your life where you felt the most alive, the most connected, the most fulfilled. Maybe it was holding someone you love. Maybe it was achieving something you thought was impossible. Maybe it was watching a sunset, standing in awe of the beauty of nature. In those moments, the common denominator wasn't achievement or possession, it was appreciation, it was gratitude. Those moments became extraordinary because you stopped and fully appreciated them. So why wait for rare occasions to feel that alive? Why not condition yourself to feel that every day, starting the moment you wake up? Saying, I am grateful for this moment is also an act of humility. It acknowledges that life itself is a gift. The breath you're taking right now is not guaranteed. Millions of people won't wake up tomorrow, but you did. That alone is something to be grateful for. And when you begin from that perspective, suddenly the little annoyances of daily life lose their power. Traffic doesn't stress you the same way. Minor setbacks don't shake you as much because you're anchored in something deeper. Gratitude puts everything into perspective. But here's the key. You can't just say the words like a script. You have to say them with emotion. You have to feel them in your body. If you say, I am grateful for this moment while you're distracted, while you're thinking about emails, while you're rushing, it won't create change. But if you take a deep breath, stand tall, put your hand on your heart, and declare it with energy, something shifts inside of you. That's when it becomes real. That's when your nervous system locks it in. This is why people who practice gratitude rituals consistently live more fulfilled lives, whether it's writing in a journal, praying, meditating, or simply declaring these words every morning. They train their mind to look for blessings first. And whatever you look for, you find. If you look for problems, you'll find them. If you look for reasons to be stressed, you'll find them. But if you look for reasons to be grateful, they're everywhere. The key is training your focus. And the truth is, gratitude doesn't just change how you feel. It changes what you do. Because when you're grateful, you make better decisions. You treat people with more kindness. You have more patience. You have more creativity. You carry yourself with a different energy, and people respond to that energy. Gratitude multiplies not just in your internal state, but in the external results you create. Even in the hardest moments of life, gratitude can be your lifeline. Think about people who have been through unimaginable challenges, loss, illness, setbacks, and yet they found a way to be grateful in the middle of it. They didn't ignore the pain, but they chose to focus on the gift within the struggle, the lesson within the hardship, the strength that was being built inside them. And because they chose gratitude, they turned what could have broken them into something that built them. That's the ultimate power of this declaration. I am grateful for this moment doesn't mean the moment is perfect. It means you are choosing to see the perfection in the imperfection. When you repeat this declaration every day, it conditions your identity. You stop being the person who waits for happiness, and you become the person who generates it. You stop being the person who needs circumstances to line up, and you become the person who finds beauty in any circumstance. And that identity shift is what transforms a life. By making gratitude your foundation, you create a state of mind and heart that nothing can take away from you. Circumstances can change, the economy can shift, relationships can evolve, but gratitude is unshakable when you practice it. And it all starts with a simple line said with deep emotion every morning: I am grateful for this moment. So, let's move to the second thing to say. I am stronger than any challenge. When you declare these words, you're not just speaking a sentence, you are reshaping your identity. Most people go through life letting challenges define them. They let problems shrink their vision. They let setbacks crush their energy. They let failures tell them who they are. But when you look in the mirror every morning and affirm, "I am stronger than any challenge," you are telling your mind and your body that nothing outside of you is bigger than the power inside of you. You are conditioning yourself to stop seeing obstacles as walls that stop you and start seeing them as weights that build you. Just like in the gym, resistance is not there to punish you, it is there to make you stronger. The moment you wake up and speak this line, you're reminding yourself that challenges are not enemies, they're allies. Every struggle, every frustration, every disappointment, it's a test. Life is not here to hand you everything you want. Life is here to develop you, to shape you into the kind of person who can carry the weight of your vision. And that shaping only happens through challenge. Without resistance, there's no growth. Without storms, you don't build resilience. Without setbacks, you never develop the hunger to rise higher. So when you say, "I am stronger than any challenge," you are choosing to embrace the very process that most people run from. You are choosing growth over comfort, expansion over contraction, destiny over mediocrity. Think about the greatest moments in your life. They didn't come without struggle. They came because you pushed through. They came because there was a time when everything seemed stacked against you, and instead of folding, you decided to rise. That moment became part of your story, and it changed how you saw yourself. Every time you overcome a challenge, you rewrite your identity. You go from "I can't" to "I can," from "I don't know how" to "I will figure it out," from "I'm not enough" to "I am more than enough." That shift is priceless. And the more you condition yourself to see every challenge through this lens, the more unstoppable you become. When most people face a challenge, they ask, "Why me?" But when you adopt this declaration, your question changes to "What is this here to teach me?" or "How is this shaping me?" That change in questions changes everything, because your brain is like a search engine. It will always give you answers to the questions you ask. If you ask, "Why me?" you'll get a list of reasons why you're unlucky, why you're not good enough, why you don't have what it takes. But if you ask, "How can I use this?" your brain will find a way. You'll see solutions you never saw before. You'll tap into courage you didn't know you had. You'll build creativity you didn't know was possible. That's what happens when you declare, "I am stronger than any challenge." You are programming your brain to search for strength instead of weakness, to search for solutions instead of excuses. This declaration also shifts your relationship with fear. Most people let fear dictate their choices. They avoid risk. They shrink back from opportunity. They hide from uncertainty. But fear only has power if you believe the challenge is bigger than you. The moment you truly believe you are stronger than any challenge, fear loses its grip. You still feel it, but you act anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward in spite of it. And courage is built through repetition. Every day you declare this, you are practicing courage in advance. You're conditioning your nervous system to move forward even when things look uncertain. Challenges also expose your values. They force you to decide what matters most. If your commitment to growth is real, you'll push through discomfort. If your vision is strong enough, no obstacle can take it away. But if your commitment is weak, you'll collapse at the first sign of struggle. This is why declaring "I am stronger than any challenge" is so powerful. It reminds you of your inner standard, your non-negotiable. It reminds you that quitting is not an option, because who you are becoming is more important than how easy it feels. Imagine for a moment the difference between two people. One person wakes up and sees challenges as threats. They think, "Why does this always happen to me? Life is unfair. I'll never figure this out." They carry stress in their body. They live in reaction. They drain their energy by fighting reality. The other person wakes up and says, "I am stronger than any challenge." They see challenges as training, as an opportunity to grow. They feel alive when tested, because they know each test is shaping them. Who do you think is going to build a more extraordinary life? Who do you think is going to feel more fulfillment? It's not even close. Your perception creates your reality, and the truth is, challenges don't go away. If you're waiting for life to get easier, you'll be waiting forever. Life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. The problems you had at 20 are not the same problems you have at 30, 40, or 50. They evolve. You solve one challenge, and life hands you a bigger one because you're ready for more. And that's a good thing, because the size of the problems you can handle determines the size of the life you can live. If you can't handle small problems, you'll live a small life. If you can handle massive problems, you can live an extraordinary one. So when you say, I am stronger than any challenge, you are declaring that you are ready for a bigger life, a greater impact, a higher standard. Your physiology also responds to this declaration. When you say those words with energy, you shift your posture. You stand taller, you breathe deeper, you engage your core, you ignite your nervous system. And that physical shift changes your emotional state. You cannot whisper, I am stronger than any challenge, and expect transformation. You have to declare it with your whole body, with intensity, with conviction, because your body believes what you consistently tell it. If you repeatedly declare weakness, you will feel weak. If you repeatedly declare strength, you will feel strong. It is conditioning, and it is real. There is also a spiritual dimension to this declaration. To say, I am stronger than any challenge, is to recognize that your spirit, your soul, your life force is bigger than any temporary circumstance. Challenges are external. Strength is internal. Circumstances come and go, but the power within you is constant if you tap into it. This is why people who have been through unimaginable adversity, loss, trauma, injustice can still rise with dignity and courage. They didn't let the challenge define them. They let it refine them. They let it bring out parts of themselves they didn't even know existed. That's what you're doing every time you repeat this line. You're refining yourself. You're activating hidden strength. You're stepping into the unshakable part of who you are. Every time you overcome a challenge, you expand your identity. You start to trust yourself more. You start to realize, if I handled that, I can handle this. And that trust is the foundation of confidence. Confidence doesn't come from pretending you're fearless. It comes from proving to yourself again and again that you can face what you once thought was impossible. That's what these words remind you of every morning. They remind you of your history of resilience, your track record of survival, your unbreakable capacity to adapt, because you've already overcome so much more than you give yourself credit for. When you make this declaration, you also influence everyone around you, your family, your friends, your team. They see how you respond to challenges, and it gives them permission to respond differently too. People are watching not just what you say, but how you live. If they see you rise when things get hard, they will learn to rise too. If they see you shrink, they will believe shrinking is the only option. By living this declaration, you don't just change yourself, you change the standard for everyone around you. And here's the most beautiful part. The moment you believe you are stronger than any challenge, the challenge itself begins to lose its weight. The mountain doesn't get smaller, but you get bigger. The obstacle doesn't disappear, but your perspective changes. What once seemed impossible becomes manageable. What once felt overwhelming becomes a stepping stone. Because it's not the size of the challenge that matters, it's the size of the person facing it. And the moment you anchor in these words, you become the kind of person who can face anything. The third thing to say every morning to yourself is this: today, I choose unstoppable energy. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, your body is already being programmed. You either let the world set your energy, or you take control of it. Most people wake up and let their phone, the news, or their problems dictate how they feel, and then they wonder why they're exhausted before the day even begins. But when you start your morning by declaring, today, I choose unstoppable energy, you are reclaiming ownership of the one force that drives everything else in your life. Your state of energy, nothing in life works without it. Your health, your relationships, your career, your dreams, your contribution, they all rise or fall based on the energy you bring. And the truth is, energy is not something you wait for, it is something you generate. Energy is a decision, not a condition. Too often people say, I don't have energy today, as if it's some random thing that just shows up or doesn't. But that's not how it works. Energy is created by the way you breathe, the way you move, the way you focus, the way you speak, the way you decide to show up. When you declare, today, I choose unstoppable energy, you are programming your nervous system to create that spark. You are reminding yourself that energy is not luck, it's a standard. And when you make it a standard, it becomes the fuel for everything you do. Think about the most successful, fulfilled people you've ever seen. Are they low energy? Do they drag themselves through the day, exhausted, defeated, lifeless? Of course not. They vibrate at a different frequency. They radiate vitality, passion, and presence. And it's not because life is easier for them. It's because they've learned the art of generating energy on command. They've conditioned their physiology and their psychology to bring power into every moment. And you can do the same. It starts with the decision you make every morning to step into unstoppable energy. Your energy is contagious. Walk into a room with low energy and you will suck the life out of it. Walk into a room with unstoppable energy and you'll lift everyone in it. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And energy is what people feel most. If you want to lead, if you want to influence, if you want to create impact, it starts with the energy you carry. Declaring today, I choose unstoppable energy is not just about you, it's about everyone who encounters you. You become the thermostat in every room, setting the tone, setting the temperature, raising the standard. And unstoppable energy doesn't mean you're bouncing off the walls all the time. It means you are aligned. It means your mind, your body, and your spirit are firing in the same direction. It means you're not letting negativity or excuses drain you. It means you've made a choice to show up at your highest level, regardless of circumstances. Because let's be real, life is going to throw things at you. There will be days when things don't go your way, when people test your patience, when challenges feel heavy. But when you've already decided that you are choosing unstoppable energy, those external factors lose their power. Your energy is no longer a reaction, it's a creation. The science of energy is real. Your body is designed to be a power plant. Energy isn't something you have, it's something you generate. When you move with intensity, when you change your breathing, when you shift your posture, when you speak with power, your biochemistry changes. Hormones fire differently, neurons wire differently, and your entire state transforms. That's why athletes warm up before a game, why performers pump themselves up before going on stage, why leaders prime themselves before a big moment. They don't wait to feel ready, they generate the energy to be ready. And every morning you have the same opportunity. By declaring today, I choose unstoppable energy and backing it up with action, you prime yourself for peak performance. Energy is also about focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you wake up thinking about problems, you'll feel drained. If you wake up thinking about possibilities, you'll feel alive. If you focus on what you can't control, you'll collapse. If you focus on what you can't create, you'll expand. The difference between exhaustion and empowerment is often just focus. And the moment you say, today I choose unstoppable energy, you're commanding your brain to direct focus toward empowerment, toward solutions, toward growth. Another key to energy is language. The words you use create the emotions you live. When you say, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm drained, your body responds accordingly. Your shoulders slump, your breath shortens, your energy plummets. But when you say, I am unstoppable, I am full of energy, I am alive, your body rises to meet that standard. Words are triggers. They are anchors for your nervous system. And this is why the declaration, today I choose unstoppable energy, is so powerful. It replaces disempowering language with empowering identity. You are not tired. You are not a victim of fatigue. You are the generator of your own vitality. Nutrition, sleep, and movement all play a role, but they're not enough on their own. How many people eat well, sleep enough, even exercise, yet still feel low energy? Because energy is not just physical, it's emotional, mental, and spiritual. Energy comes from meaning. When you have a compelling vision for your life, when you are deeply connected to your purpose, you tap into a reservoir of energy that is limitless. Have you ever noticed how tired you can feel until something exciting happens? Suddenly the fatigue vanishes. Why? Because energy follows meaning, and meaning is a choice. You can decide every morning that your life has purpose, that your day has significance, that what you do matters. And when you connect to that, unstoppable energy flows naturally. Unstoppable energy is not about pretending you're never tired. It's about refusing to let tiredness define you. It's about creating momentum even when you don't feel like it. Momentum itself creates energy. The hardest part of any task is starting. But once you start, once you move, once you act, energy builds. That's why action is the cure for low energy. Waiting makes you weaker. Moving makes you stronger. And this declaration pushes you into action, because the moment you identify as someone who has unstoppable energy, you align your behavior with that identity, and identity is everything. If you see yourself as someone who is easily drained, someone who struggles to keep up, someone who never has enough energy, that identity will run your life. But if you choose the identity of someone who brings unstoppable energy, you will live into that reality. Identity creates habits, habits create momentum, and momentum creates results. The way you see yourself becomes the way you show up. So every time you declare, "Today I choose unstoppable energy," you're not just saying words, you're sculpting your identity into someone who always has more to give, who always has the power to create, who always shows up at their best. The truth is, the world doesn't need more tired, burnt out, drained people. The world needs people who radiate energy, who inspire others, who light the fire in those around them. And that starts with a decision. It starts with you waking up and declaring with full conviction, "Today I choose unstoppable energy," because the way you show up each day is the way your life unfolds. And when you choose unstoppable energy, you're choosing to live not at half capacity, not at survival mode, but at your fullest potential. The fourth thing is this: I attract growth and abundance. When you begin your morning with these words, you are setting the foundation for the way your mind interprets everything that happens to you throughout the day. Most people wake up and immediately fall into patterns of fear, scarcity, and worry. They think about what they don't have, what's missing, what could go wrong. And when you start from that mindset, everything in your life begins to reflect lack. But when you declare, "I attract growth and abundance," you are programming your focus toward expansion, toward opportunity, toward possibility. You are choosing to see life not as something that happens to you, but as something that happens for you. You are choosing to step into the role of creator instead of the role of victim. Growth and abundance are not accidents, they are magnets. Whatever you consistently focus on, you begin to attract. This is not magic, it's psychology, it's biology. It's the way your nervous system and your brain are wired. When you fix your focus on growth, your brain starts looking for patterns, people, and opportunities that will allow you to expand. When you fix your focus on abundance, your decisions, your emotions, and your actions align with prosperity instead of limitation. "I attract growth and abundance" is not just a statement, it's a commitment to live at a higher level of awareness. Growth means that you are never stagnant, never stuck. It means that every single day you are evolving, learning, stretching beyond your comfort zone. Abundance means that you are not living in scarcity, not trapped in the illusion of not enough, but anchored in the reality that there is always more love, more joy, more opportunity, more resources, more ways to contribute. And when you link the two together, growth and abundance, you create a formula for an extraordinary life. Because abundance without growth makes you soft, and growth without abundance makes you rigid. But when you attract both, you are constantly expanding while being fueled by the richness of life. Imagine two different people waking up in the morning. One of them thinks, "I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough support, I don't have enough energy." That person carries scarcity into every interaction, and scarcity produces contraction. They hesitate, they hold back, they fear risk. And because of that, they never see the opportunities that are right in front of them. The other person wakes up and declares, "I attract growth and abundance." That person walks into the same day with the belief that every situation is an opportunity to expand, that resources are always available, that life is overflowing with possibilities. Who do you think will find more doors opening? Who do you think will live with more fulfillment? The answer is obvious. Your perspective becomes your reality. When you say, "I attract growth and abundance," you are planting a seed in your subconscious mind, and that seed grows when it is watered with repetition and emotion. The more you declare it, the more your subconscious looks for ways to make it true. Suddenly, you notice ideas you would have ignored before. You meet people you would have overlooked. You take action on opportunities you would have been too afraid to pursue. That is the power of a belief. It acts like a filter, and when the belief is abundance, the filter reveals opportunities everywhere. Growth is not always comfortable, and abundance is not always obvious. That's why this declaration matters so much. Life will challenge you, stretch you, test you, but when you anchor yourself in the certainty that you attract growth, you stop resisting the process. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, how is this growing me? That one shift changes everything. Challenges stop being setbacks and start becoming setups. Struggles stop being punishment and start being preparation. Growth is often disguised as discomfort, but when you've already decided that you attract growth, you embrace the discomfort because you know it's shaping you into more. Abundance works the same way. Scarcity tells you to hold back, to hoard, to be afraid that there won't be enough. Abundance tells you to trust, to expand, to give, to know that there is always more where that came from. When you declare, I attract growth and abundance, you're telling your nervous system to operate from faith instead of fear. You start living with an open hand instead of a closed fist. And the more you give, the more you receive, because abundance flows through circulation. Money circulates, energy circulates, love circulates. The more you release it, the more it comes back to you multiplied. Your energy is magnetic. People feel what you radiate before you even speak. If you radiate scarcity, you repel opportunity. If you radiate abundance, you attract it. If you radiate fear, you close doors. If you radiate confidence, gratitude, and generosity, you open doors. Saying these words every morning is about shifting your energy at the core so that you walk into the world as someone who attracts growth and abundance naturally. It's important to understand that abundance is not only about material wealth. Yes, financial prosperity can be part of it, but abundance is so much more. It is the abundance of love in your relationships, the abundance of health in your body, the abundance of joy in your heart, the abundance of opportunities to grow, the abundance of ways to contribute. When you condition yourself to live in abundance, you stop obsessing over what you don't have and start maximizing what you do have. That shift alone can multiply your resources, because what you focus on expands. If you focus on lack, lack expands. If you focus on abundance, abundance expands. And growth is not just about achieving goals, it's about who you become in the process. A person who is constantly growing is never the same person from one year to the next. They are always evolving, always learning, always sharpening their edge. When you declare, I attract growth and abundance, you're declaring that you will not stay the same, that you will not settle, that you will not shrink back into comfort. You are declaring that every day is a chance to evolve into your next level, and that life is always providing you the resources you need to get there. Think about the power of this declaration in the moments where life feels uncertain. Maybe the economy shifts, maybe a relationship changes, maybe you face a setback in your career. Most people collapse under that pressure. But if you wake up every day saying, I attract growth and abundance, you interpret those same circumstances differently. You see them as fuel instead of failure. You look for what's expanding instead of what's contracting. And because you look for it, you find it. That's how you keep momentum when the world seems to be slowing down. Your physiology also responds to this declaration. Say the words with conviction and watch how your body reacts. Your chest opens, your shoulders pull back, your breath deepens, your body aligns with confidence, your mind connects with possibility, your energy begins to radiate outward. This is why it's not enough to think the words, you must feel them. You must say them with intensity, with certainty, with absolute belief. The state you create in your body becomes the reality you attract in your life. And let's be clear, this declaration is not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing which reality to magnify. Scarcity is real, challenges are real, but growth and abundance are just as real, if not more. The difference is which one you decide to amplify through your focus, your energy, and your language. And the moment you declare, I attract growth and abundance, you are magnifying the reality that empowers you instead of the one that limits you. This is also about identity. The words I attract are powerful because they are tied to who you are, not just what you do. You're not saying, I hope for growth and abundance, or maybe one day I'll get growth and abundance. You are saying, this is who I am. I am someone who attracts it naturally. When something becomes part of your identity, it becomes automatic. You don't have to force it, you don't have to chase it, you live it. And when you live it, it shows up everywhere. growth and abundance are also deeply connected to contribution. The more you grow, the more you have to give. The more abundant you feel, the more generous you become. And the more you give, the more you attract. It's a cycle. The people who live in scarcity take, hoard, and protect, and yet they always feel like it's not enough. The people who live in abundance give, share, and expand, and yet they always seem to have more. Because abundance multiplies through circulation, not possession. Every time you say these words in the morning, you are rewiring your brain to see opportunity instead of obstacles, to see resources instead of limits, to see potential instead of problems. Over time, that rewiring changes your entire reality. Because your outer world is always a reflection of your inner world. If your inner world is abundant, your outer world will reflect it. If your inner world is scarce, your outer world will mirror it. And the choice is made in the declarations you repeat to yourself every day. The fifth and most important thing to say is this: I am becoming my best self today. When you speak these words out loud each morning, you're not just repeating a phrase, you're making a declaration about who you are choosing to be in this moment. You're not saying someday or one day. You're not pushing your growth off into the future where it stays a dream or a wish. You're saying today, right now, in this 24-hour window, you are stepping into the process of becoming your best self. That's a decision that shifts your energy, your focus, and your behavior immediately. Because when you truly believe you're becoming your best self today, you can't keep living with the habits, the excuses, the stories that kept you from it yesterday. Most people live with a disconnect between who they are and who they want to be. They hold this image in their mind of the person they could become, the healthy one, the disciplined one, the courageous one, the successful one, but they keep telling themselves they'll get there tomorrow. Tomorrow they'll wake up early. Tomorrow they'll start that project. Tomorrow they'll finally speak up. And tomorrow never comes, because the habit of delay becomes permanent. But when you say, I am becoming my best self today, you collapse the distance between who you are and who you want to be. You bring it into the present, you claim it as your identity now, not later, and that creates urgency, that creates momentum. Becoming your best self is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about being committed to the version of you that is just a little stronger, a little more focused, a little more disciplined, a little more loving than you were yesterday. That's why the word becoming is so powerful. It's active. It means you're in motion. It means you're not stunned. It means you're not waiting for some magical event to change your life. You're changing it right now in real time. Think about the psychology of that. When you start your day saying, I am becoming my best self today, you set your mind to look for ways to prove it true. You don't let yourself off the hook so easily. If you're tempted to hit the snooze button, that phrase reminds you that your best self doesn't do that. If you're about to react out of anger, that phrase interrupts you and reminds you that your best self responds with patience and power. If you're facing a challenge that feels overwhelming, that phrase reminds you that your best self leans into the challenge instead of running from it. It becomes a filter for your choice. Your best self is already inside you. It's not something outside of you that you have to chase. It's in your thoughts, your decisions, your behaviors. It's the version of you that comes alive when you live with courage instead of fear, with faith instead of doubt, with discipline instead of excuses. And the reason you must remind yourself every morning that you're becoming that self today is because the world will constantly try to pull you back into comfort, into mediocrity, into old patterns. The declaration anchors you to your highest standard before the day even begins. There's another layer here. Notice that the phrase doesn't say, I will be my best self. It says, I am becoming. That's important because it frees you from the trap of perfectionism. Too many people beat themselves up because they're not at their ideal yet. They compare themselves to others who seem further ahead. They focus on the gap instead of the gain. But when you frame it as becoming, you honor the process. You acknowledge that every small step you take today, whether it's choosing water over soda, choosing action over procrastination, choosing courage over hesitation, is part of the transformation. And transformation happens step by step, not overnight. This phrase also puts power back in your hands. You are not passively waiting for someone else to make you better. You are not waiting for circumstances to improve, for luck to change, for the economy to shift, or for other people to give you permission. You are actively becoming your best self today. That means your growth doesn't depend on what's happening around you. It depends on what you decide to embody. It's a declaration of personal responsibility. Now think about how different your life looks when you repeat this every day for weeks, months, years. If every single morning you declare, I am becoming my best self today, you build an identity around progress, not stagnation. An identity is the strongest force in human behavior. People will do almost anything to stay consistent with their identity. So when you make becoming your best self part of who you are, you don't have to force growth. It becomes natural. You don't have to fight against yourself. You align with yourself. There will be days where life challenges you, where everything feels heavy, where you don't feel like doing the work. And that's exactly when this phrase is most powerful, because becoming your best self isn't about how you act when everything is easy. It's about how you act when everything is hard. Anyone can be strong when they're not tested. Your best self shows up when you are tested. Your best self rises when life pushes you down. And when you've already committed in advance today, no matter what happens, I am meeting my best self. You stop letting circumstances control you. You take back control. What does your best self look like in different areas of life? In your health, it's the version of you that treats your body like the gift it is, fueling it with the right energy, moving it with strength, resting it with discipline. In your relationships, it's the version of you that loves fully, listens deeply, speaks truthfully, forgives quickly. In your career, it's the version of you that brings creativity, resilience, drive, and vision. In your personal growth, it's the version of you that is always learning, always pushing, always stretching. And when you wake up and declare that you are becoming that version today, you can't help but raise your standards in every area. There's something else powerful here. That word brings you into the present moment. It reminds you that the only time you can grow, the only time you can act, the only time you can become is now. Too many people live in the past, replaying mistakes, holding on to regret. Or they live in the future, dreaming about what might be one day. But life doesn't happen in the past or future. It happens today. Growth happens today. Abundance happens today. Change happens today. So when you declare, I am becoming my best self today, you anchor yourself in the only place where transformation is possible, the present. And when you start stacking days like that, something extraordinary happens. One day of becoming your best self turns into a week, then into a month, then into a year, and by the end of that year, you're not even the same person you were before. People look at you and say, what happened to you? You're different, you're sharper, you're stronger, you're more alive. And you'll know the truth. It wasn't one giant leap. It was daily alignment. It was the decision you made each morning to become, not someday, but today. This phrase also connects with your subconscious mind in a powerful way. Every time you say it with conviction, your subconscious begins aligning your behavior with it. You start acting like the person you're becoming even before you fully are. That's how change works. You don't wait until you're perfect to act like your best self. You act like your best self, and that action transforms you into it. The identity comes first and the behavior follows. Every morning is a reset. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Maybe you messed up, maybe you fell short, maybe you didn't live at your highest standard, but when you wake up and declare, I am becoming my best self today, you're giving yourself permission to rise again, to reset, to step back into alignment. That's the gift of today. It's always a new chance. And as long as you have breath in your lungs, you have the opportunity to become more. This declaration is also a form of self-respect. It's telling yourself that you are worth the effort, worth the discipline, worth the commit. Too many people treat themselves like they're not worth it, like they're not deserving of their best. They lower their standards, they tolerate mediocrity, they stay stuck. But when you affirm that you are becoming your best self today, you're saying, I matter, my life matters, my potential matters, and I refuse to waste it. That kind of self-respect changes the way you show up for everything. Think about the ripple effect of this phrase. When you become your best self, you don't just transform your own life, you transform the lives of everyone around you. Your family feels it, your friends feel it, your coworkers feel it, your community feels it. People are influenced not by what you say, but by who you are. And when who you are is someone becoming their best self every day, you give permission and inspiration for others to do the same. That's leadership. That's impact. The truth is, you already know the areas where you've been holding back. You already know the patterns that keep you from your best self. And saying these words every morning is like shining a light on them. It doesn't let you hide. It doesn't let you shrink. It calls you out and calls you up. It demands that you stop living below your potential. And that demand is what pulls greatness out of you. You've just walked through 5 declarations that, if you choose to repeat them every morning with conviction, will completely alter the trajectory of your life. Gratitude anchors you. Strength empowers you. Energy fuels you. Abundance expands you. And becoming your best self keeps you aligned with your ultimate potential. These aren't just words, they're weapons. Tools you use to condition your nervous system, shift your psychology, and command your state every single day. But here's the key: repetition is power. It's not about saying them once and forgetting. It's about living them daily until they become your identity. And that's exactly why I'm inviting you again. Join the official WhatsApp channel right now. That's where you're going to get the accountability, the reminders, the unstoppable energy of a community that's growing together every single day. The link is below in the description or pinned comments. Don't just listen, stay connected, stay fueled, stay consistent. This is Tony Robbins Track, and if this message hit you, then make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Write in the comments what your best self looks like today, because your words matter. They'll inspire someone else here. And don't forget, your next step is simple. Join the WhatsApp channel through the link in the description or pinned comments. That's where you'll get daily fuel to keep you moving, growing, and becoming. Remember, I am becoming my best self today.